So we are still under factors affecting the speed of wind. Factors affecting speed of sound. Still on those factors. All factors in which the sound depends, the speed of sound depends. So we can talk about wind. Very important factor. We know wind is a moving air. And therefore, the speed of sound is high when it is in the same direction. As that of wind movement. That is very important. And speed of sound is low when in the opposite direction to that of wind. Why? Because the sound waves will be blown in the opposite direction and therefore retarding on their speed. That is a very important factor. Then the third one is density. So the speed of sound is low in denser medium. So speed of sound is low in the denser medium, because it requires high energy to vibrate the particles of the denser medium. While the speed of sound is higher in a less dense medium. Think about this in a less dense medium. Why? Because little energy is required to vibrate particles within what we call a less dense medium. Very important and influential factors. So from here, I would like us really to go directly to what we call echo. All the time students have been asking me this: what is echo? Since both have been experiencing this scenario, I would like to take you back to those people who live near valleys. In Rutoro, they call them Ebizongo. When you go on the top of the mountain and you speak, after some time you have spoken, you will hear your sound is repeating itself. Not only that, you go in a main hall which has around 4 walls. You speak, stand in the middle and speak. The main hall, which is large, not small ones, you will hear your sound is repeating itself. There is a difference between reverberation, which I'm going to talk about, and echo. So in brief, echo is a reflected sound. 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 This is what we call the echo, which is our reflected sound. Otherwise, when the sound hits what we call a wall, it is reflected back to you. What is conditions? Conditions for echo sound to be produced. The first condition is that the distance, there must be a minimum distance of 17.2 meters between the producer of sound and the reflector of sound. This one can be a barrier, can be a cliff, it can be a wall. All of them can work. So this is very important. And then the wavelength of the reflected sound should be less than the height for the body producing sound. The height for the body producing sound. Then another one is the sound produced should be of high intensity. Of high intensity. So as it can be reflected back three factors on which the echo should be produced. There must be a minimum distance of 17.2 meters between the producer of sound and the reflector of sound. The wavelength of the reflected sound should be less than the height of the body producing sound. And the sound produced should be of high intensity so as it cannot be easily absorbed by what we call materials. Now, ladies and gentlemen, we need to look at some applications of what we call the echo. Where do we apply the echo sound? So, applications of echo sound, of echo, which is the applications of the reflected sound. So, it's used by nocturnal animals like bats find food and locate direction. Which is called echolocation. So that's where we can apply again usage to determine most important application is what we call echo, and the below I want to go and discover more because our curriculum is based on the students' discovery. Dear viewers, let us look at an experiment of echo to determine the speed of sound in air. So an experiment to determine the speed of sound in air using echo method. Very important as far as echo is concerned. Now, we shall have the setup, which is very simple. I will have my two experimenters. This is a reflecting wall. This is my wall, which is a reflecting sound. Like this. This is my experimenters. So I have another one here. The two experimenters, they stand at a distance d. This distance is d from here. So the steps we shall have two experimenters stand at no distance d from a vertical wall. One experimenter having a watch, another having pieces of wood. So one experimenter claps pieces of wood for n times. And another experimenter starts the stop watch immediately he hears first sound and stops it when he hears the second sound. When he hears the second sound. The experiment is repeated for many times. Experiment repeated for many times. Okay? For many times. From velocity is equal to times distance times every times taken. N. Where V, velocity of sound, and V is the distance. The distance, and the N is any times lap moves. So this is by the use of the echo to determine the speed of sound in air. So the first is experimental standard known distance V from a vertical wall. One experimenter having a watch, another having pieces of wood. One experimenter grabs pieces of wood for n times, and another experimenter starts the stopwatch immediately he hears first sound and stops when he hears the second sound. The experiment is repeated for many times. So from velocity is 2d times distance times n times out of time taken. Indeed, you can get 2. You know echo is reflected. The sound comes here, it goes back. That's why it is 2nd. N is the number of times the moves are made. D is the distance. T is the time. So I have got this gate frequency. So 2d out of here is the same as this one, whereby you have to find our unknowns. Thank you so much. This is an experiment. Thank you.